because this is something I did in the 80s in sales school, and I think it's still relevant today. I mean, when you're out there, the real question is, what does the employer need? What are you going to do for the employer? What's different about you? What's the advantage? Why should they hire you? And you constantly got to recalibrate. I mean, somebody talked about going to the interview and it's once and you got to get the impression across, and how you need to prep for it, they've researched. I think all of that's true, but I also think even when you're in there talking to somebody, and when I've talked to people about jobs internally, or even the times I've looked externally, you're constantly recalibrating. Because as you talk about what you may think your skill base is and how you benefit that employer, you may learn that they're thinking of something different. And you can recalibrate. And as I've looked at how my career has changed within IBM, what I was doing 30 years ago is not related to what I'm doing now. You constantly have to say, what core skills do you have? How do those skills address a need? What advantage they give and what makes it different? And I mean, it's really interesting because it's very similar to what's in your presentation, very similar to what you said. And those 4 words down the left, hammered into memory in sales school 30 years ago, are directly out of how we were taught to sell IBM products. I mean, at some fundamental level, and I think that's why you wanted to conclude with sales, selling yourself is really no different than whether you're selling computers, selling services, selling software, selling pharmaceuticals. Ultimately, the whole thing's about what does somebody need and how can you deliver to that need. That's become harder to do. The world used to be different. When I hired on at IBM, it was a very simple world. I was talking to somebody just out of college earlier this evening. It's a lot easier, simpler world then. Now, everything's changing. I mean, not changing on a year-to-year basis, changing almost on a month-to-month basis. What's hot one month may not be hot the next month. You've got to keep adapting. You need to adapt to change, see how that works, see where you can fulfill a need, what it is about you that lets you fulfill that need, how it's different, and recalibrate it constantly. It's not only the idea that not all jobs are public, some jobs are almost creative. I mean, I think you can talk to people, find out what their needs are. I mean, maybe you have some unique skill, and you see a company is looking for it, and you approach them with a proposition. That's a lot of what we do.